good success against him in his last 2 games. With your defensive background, does it get easier defending somebody a third time in a year, or are you just glad that you've got Derrick Henry on your side and you don't have to prepare to stop him?
Well, I mean, they present their own challenges. They're excellent at what they do. You know, we're appreciative of Derrick's efforts. You know, everybody that goes into, you know, making him be successful. You know, the line, I think the coaching, the receivers, everybody. It takes all 11, and you know, Derrick's been, you know, been a huge asset for us. He's the captain. But I don't know if it makes it any easier or any tougher. I know that we'll have a challenge to defend their attack and the way that they're playing and their weapons as well.
Jim?
And Mike, they've held, I guess, defensively 4 of their last 5 opponents in the teens, and one of them just to 3 points. What do they do so well on defense, and what have they done better since the last time you faced them?
Well, they just smothered people, and they've gotten out to such, you know, good starts. You know, they're playing well in all 3 phases. You know, it'll be critical that we come out ready to go. But you know, I mean, they're sound. They're good on the edges. They're good up the middle, and you know, they get up on you and challenge you outside, and you know, it's an excellent defense.
John Glenn?
Yeah, Mike, I wonder how different practices are this time of year as opposed to, you know, early weeks of the season, you know, maybe both physically and mentally for you guys.
Well, this is a grind. This league is a grind. It's a, you know, who can sustain over the course of 16 or 17 weeks, and now, you know, into our playoff season. Guys are beat up. Guys, you know, been through a lot. Just emotionally, I think, with, you know, where we're at with the pandemic and, you know, the challenges that's provided. So I think that the practices are different. I think that we have to structure them in a manner that gives the players what they need, but also conscious of their health and who's available and the types of numbers that we have.
I wonder, even mentally, are there some differences in how you approach practices this time of year as well?
I mean, I hope mentally we're sharper than ever. We better be. It's a huge challenge. It's a huge opportunity to be able to host a playoff game, to be in this position. So I hope that mentally we're sharper than ever. And I think that that's one challenge that you face is sometimes when maybe you don't feel great on a Wednesday or Thursday after a game, is that you have to try to, you know, not trick yourself a little bit, but you have to be much more into it mentally.
Thanks.
Terry?
Mike, was wondering if you could give us any update regarding maybe the availability of Stephen Gostkowski for Sunday and just how delicate that situation is, because we saw what happened, I guess, with Bo Brinkley. Didn't have the strength when he came back off the COVID list. I'm assuming that you'll have confidence in Sloman if he's your guy going forward.
What'd you say about Bo Brinkley?
Just that Bo wasn't quite himself once he came off the COVID list.
Oh, I thought you were. I hope Bo. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Bo blamed the performance. You know, Bo's not with us, so we're gonna. I think Steven will be back with us today, working through the ramp up, and we'll see where he's at. But he's back in with us today, so we'll see where he's at moving forward.
Steve Lyman?
Mike, real quick, kind of a follow-up on that. There was a report out there yesterday that there was a positive test in the building. I'm wondering if you can confirm that and if that changed anything that you guys are doing in terms of your own internal protocols this week.
Of course, I won't confirm anything that relates to the health and safety of our staff or our players or their family. But we're conscious of being as smart and as safe as we can as we conduct meetings, and some of those are virtual and some of those are, you know, in the bubble extended out and spaced out. very conscious of our physical and social distancing, and continue to practice the safe habits with wearing our masks and just keeping everybody apart the best that we can. Those none of those have changed, and I am very, very proud of our staff, our players, for the isolated instances that we have had, that they report back no close contacts.
And then when it comes to Derek, he obviously has been great for a long time, regular season, postseason, all that. But even going back to before you got here, he has been phenomenal in playoff games. Is there something about his style of running or his personality that you think leads to him taking it maybe even to another level in the playoffs?
I think he's very conscious of his ability and how he trains and how he prepares, and he signs up for the long haul. And I think when he trains and does all that stuff in the off season and especially during the season as it wears on, that he's prepared to do what he needs to do to help this football team.
Teron?
So, Coach, what would you say has gone into A.J. Brown developing into that guy that you tell Tannehill, hey, just put one up there to him in that situation last week? What has caused him to develop into such a big-time player for you?
I mean, I think he's just got a skill set that's, he's big and he's fast. He's got strong hands. I think he's got a certain confidence level. Continues to improve and develop. And, there's things that we continue to work with him on, and Rob does, as well as, Arthur and the quarterbacks, and building that trust and relationship.
Paul?
Picking up on that a little bit, the precision that play took to AJ at the end of last week, the precision that the two throws took in the Baltimore playoff game last year to Jonnu and to Khalif, how crucial that you find those in the moments that they're available to you and execute them the way you did in those three situations.
I think there's times in the game where, you just have an opportunity to make a play, and, that has to, hopefully happen, where you get a favorable look, or you get an opportunity to make a play, whether that be in offense, defense, or special teams. And as players, you have to go out there and execute. And if for some reason you don't, then you're going to have to let it go and go on to the next play, as hard as that may seem at times. But there are some of those instances where, it's critical that when you're presented with an opportunity, that you take advantage of it. And, there's got to be, we're talking about throwing the ball deep. There's got to be a pocket, a clean pocket. There's got to be opportunity to win downfield. And then obviously ball placement, is critical. And then finishing the catch.
Luke?
Of the 9 one-possession games you all have been in this year, you've won 7 of them. What has allowed you all to be so successful in those close games and finishing it out?
Well, I think we practice situations. I think that the players understand that, we don't panic as much as we would like to, make them be a little bit more comfortable, Luke. I think, that's sometimes how it goes in this league. And we battle and we do what we have to do. I think we practice them, and I think that we're comfortable in that atmosphere.
We've seen the situational awareness practices that you've done before. Where did the idea for those come from? Was that something you did as a player or at another coaching stop?
Well, I think to what extent you do them, it depends on each place. And, I think that just, as a player, tried to understand what those situations were that were presented to you, to be able to understand it out on the field and communicate it. Something that I think I try to do with the other players that I was out there with. And then, we've done them at different places that I've been. And then I think that it's also critical to, continue them, as the season goes on, so that, it doesn't wane. I think you try to continue to show them, clips. They happen every week, whether it be 4-minute, 2-minute, situations that come up.
Adam?
Yeah, if Gostkowski does get to kick on Sunday, obviously he's got a whole lot of playoff experience. What value do you put on a kicker that has a lot of playoff experience?
Just value the ones that make them, Adam. That's it, man. That's all we can go by is when they make them, and that's we're confident that whoever's in there is going to make them.
Thanks.
Buck?
Hey, Mike. Given everything that's happened over the course of 2020 and now into 2021, I wonder if you guys as a team had any conversations about what happened yesterday in Washington, D.C.
Had not, so, I think that we all, have our own, political stance. And, right now I think we're just, focused, at least me personally, on, the well-being of this team, their families, my own personal situations with our families and the staff's family. I think that's the most important thing for me right now.
John?
Yeah, Mike, I just wanted to follow on Tehran's question earlier about AJ. You mentioned that he has some confidence. Do you see that in some guys? Are there some guys with just kind of natural personalities that seem to be able to rise to the occasion, that are comfortable in big moments, having big performances?
Well, I mean, I think there's people that carry themselves differently, but sometimes you see it. There's an energy, there's a play demeanor that you can appreciate. I don't necessarily know if you rise to the occasion, but maybe you fall to the level of your preparation. And so these guys are prepared when they make those plays, and having done it in practice or done it in previous games.
Thanks.
All right. That was all the questions. Appreciate it, Coach.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.